Hello and Tashit Delek. Welcome back to Dharma Snacks. Last week we discussed the faults of not cultivating mindfulness of death. Today we are going to look at some ways to cultivate mindfulness of death. In Lamrim Chemo, this topic is taught under three main headings. First one, the contemplation that death is certain. So the death is certain. So eventually we all will die. And then the time of death is uncertain. Even though death is certain, but the time of death is uncertain. Nobody knows one's time of death. It can happen any time, any moment. And then when this happens, nothing helps. How wealthy you are, how powerful you are, whether you are a celebrity or not, whether you have a huge entourage and a huge family, it doesn't matter. All these ceases to become insignificant and become useless at the time of death. Only Dharma practices becomes the single most important thing at that time. So these are the three main statements. In order to support these three statements, three reasons are provided to support each of these statements. And then finally, upon the contemplation on the three reasons, we arrive at three conclusions. So this set of meditation is called, this way of meditation on the mindfulness of death is called Chiwa Kuduktu Samba. So there are 9 things, the 3 statements, 3 reasons, and 3 conclusions. So today we are going to look at the 3 reasons to support the first statement, which is death is certain. We all know that death is certain. Nobody really thinks that he or she will live forever. Everybody knows that we will die eventually. But our understanding, the problem with our understanding is that it becomes kind of a superficial. We know only at the surface level. We fail to have that connection. So that's why we are always making plans. We are not preparing to die. We are always preparing to live. So that's why it is important to reflect on these points, hammer these points, these reasons, so that this conviction that death is certain arises within us. Because when that happens, then our way of thinking, our way of doing, our priorities all will change. So now let's look at the first reason. The Lord of the Death is definitely coming, and nothing can prevent it. Here it is saying that the end of our birth is death. Who are born will die eventually. Wherever you go, there isn't any place that is immune to death. You may go up to the moon. You may go under the ocean. You may climb on the top of the highest mountain in the world. You may even go to the most popular tourist island. But all are prone to death. No place is immune to death. And then there isn't any medicines or cure that can prevent us from death. No matter how advanced we are in medical technology, so far there isn't any pills that can guarantee eternal life. There isn't even any puja that can give us eternal life. And no matter how wealthy you are, you may have what you call thousands or hundreds and thousands of $billion, but you cannot buy death. You cannot bribe. You cannot pay the death to go away. You may be the most powerful person in the whole world, but you are still subject to death. You may be the fastest man alive in the whole world, but you cannot overrun death. Death will catch up with you, no matter how fast you can run. So in short, everybody is subject to death. Everybody will die. We can tell from our own experience. All our great-grandparents, they were once alive, but now, at this time, they remain only in our memory. And our grandparents, for most of us, they are gone. And for some of us, even our own parents, they are also only in our memory. They are no longer with us. And within maybe 50 years' time, or in 100 years' time, none of us will be alive. At the moment you are listening to this talk, and I am talking to you, but in 60, 70 years' time, we all ceases to be alive. We will be already in our next life. So nobody can escape death. Death will happen to everybody. The second reason is that our lifetime cannot be extended and constantly diminishes. The one reason why death is certain is that we cannot apply for extension. If it were a visa, if you are issued or granted, let's say, 1-year visa, when the time comes, you can always renew. I just renewed my visa recently. But when it comes to our lifetime, it cannot be extended. It is fixed according to our karma. Whatever karma has decided for our lifespan to be. That's about it. But of course, we can do pujas and receive long life initiations to avert untimely death. Many people die not because their lifespan ended, but because of obstacles. Many die untimely, of untimely death. And not only it cannot be extended, but it is constantly diminishing. As I am talking right now, and as you are listening, we are moving closer to our end, our death. As you see in the picture, that waterfall, the water keeps moving. It is always on the move. Likewise, every second, our life is moving towards the end. Even when we are sleeping, we are using up the time. Even when we are eating, we are walking towards death. 인생 되바 용미나 세대 다도 그려주신 넘버 그네 용매나 다다치와 지면주스. Since there is no extension to the lifespan and it continuously diminishes, Shantideva says that where is there a confidence, where is there a reason that we will live, we will not die? So we will die eventually. And we are already, the moment we are born, we are already, the beginning of our death has started. So for most of us, we don't know how much longer we are until we reach the end. And then the third reason is that while you are alive, there is little time for Dharma practices. So even when we are alive, we don't have much time for Dharma practices. First of all, our life is very short. We may, most of us, we may live up to, maximum 80 years old. So if you divide that 80 years of time into two, because half of your time we sleep. So half of our life is gone for sleeping. And then the remaining 40 years, we have to eat, we have to attend to many things, and then those who go to work, most hours of the day is already spent on that. And then when we come home, we are too tired to do Dharma practice. So even when we are alive, it is so difficult to find time to commit to Dharma practice. We always, when there is time, we always find something to do, something to take, priority of our Dharma practice. We have something more important to do than to practice Dharma. So that's why Kongdan Rinpoche said that Chu Chiju Martin Nishu Tel, Chu Chedo Chedo Nishu Tel, Majung Majung Shene Nishu Tel, Mizi Tongpa Seven Namdarins. Suppose a person lives for 60 years. So in Tibet, the average age is 60. So the first 20 years, because you are too young to think about spiritual practices. So 20 years, it just vanishes. In America, your 20 years of age will be fully focused on your education, going to school, going to college, going to university. For many people, the thought to practice Dharma hardly occurs. So that first 20 years is kind of wasted without even having a slightest thought of practicing Dharma. And then the next 20 years, because now you are out of university, you are starting to start a life. You settle down with somebody you like, and then you will have a kid, and you are so focused on starting a life, protecting and providing your family. So engrossed in the conventional world or doing the worldly things, chasing after material gains. So another 20 years is gone. And then finally, maybe after 40 years of age, then you realize that what you have been doing, what you have been focusing, is not really the source of happiness. You realize that money, fame, power, this does not guarantee happiness. And you started to search, and you realize that it is the spiritual practice. It is the Dharma practice. That is the source of lasting happiness. But by then, you already feel that it is too late. And you say, now, I cannot do anything. It is too late. By saying this, you waste another 20 years. And then the death will come. So it's a Mizi Tongpa Seven Namdarins. That is the empty life story. So that's why we need to realize this. We need to contemplate again and again on these points so that we get this conviction that, yes, death is really certain. Death is certain. You need to have some real feeling from inside, not just saying from your mouth. You really need to feel it. When you feel it, then you will do something about it. Because as I always say, we still have time. We are still alive. So, upon reflection on this, we need to arrive on the conclusion. But before we come to the conclusion, maybe we will quickly look at this. So these are statistics. This I think this was before pandemic. So this number would have markedly changed. So like each year it says 150 over 150,000 people die each day. So that means nearly 2 people die each second. As I am talking now, people are dying. These are statistics, these are facts. And then in America, approximately 7,452 people die every day in the United States, which means that every 12 seconds a person dies in the United States. And when it comes to children, 1,600 children die, under 15 years of age die each year. Annually, 1,600 children die. So these stats are before the pandemic. Imagine what would it be during the pandemic. So upon reflection on all this, we need to come to this conclusion. We need to arrive at this conclusion that since death is definite, I must practice Dharma. So if you come to the realization that death is certain, and if you don't do anything, if you don't decide to practice Dharma, then what is the point? So look at the image. So on the one side, there is a stream of water, and on the other hand, you have a heap of wheat grains or rye grains. So let's say if you have this huge pile of grains, and then you were told that there is a stream flowing or coming from there on your way to where you have that pile. So what would you do? If a person is a thinking person, right away the person will try to remove the grains from the pathway of that stream. The person will try to collect or clear that pile as many as possible, as many buckets as possible. So when you do that, you may be able to save or retrieve that whole pile. Even if you are not able to retrieve the whole pile, but at least you will be able to retrieve some of it, part of it. But if you don't do anything about it, you just say, oh, the water is coming, river is coming this way. And if you don't do anything, then there is no way you can retrieve anything. All that grain of rice or wheat will be washed away by the water. So likewise, we should not just stop there at that realization that death is definite. Upon realization, we have to make this strong determination that since death is definite, since death is certain, I must practice Dharma. I will die eventually, and also I don't know how many years, how much time I have left. So whatever remaining time I have, I must commit to Dharma practice. I must ensure a good future for myself. If I were to die now, I worry, I fear about my future. What kind of next life I would have. What kind of condition I would be in once this life ends. So that kind of fear is what we are trying to engender. The general fear, the fear of being separated from our loved ones, the fear of being separated from our body, the fear of being separated from our wealth, the fear of being separated from the things that we are attached to. These are common fears. That's not important, because even if we are able to, even if that fear arises, there's nothing we can do about it. Because no matter whatever you do, you will still be separated from the things that you are attached to when the death comes. No matter whatever you do, when the time comes, you will be separated from your body, your loved ones, your family members. So that is inevitable. That is unavoidable. There's nothing we can do about it. But on the other hand, the fear about our future condition, what would happen to my next life, that kind of fear, we can do something about it. Because we can prepare. We know that if we commit our time to practice Dharma, then we are ensuring a good future. So in that sense, it is worth engendering that kind of fear, so that that fear will propel us to devote our time to Dharma practices. So that's the whole point. We must not forget that. So that's why some people, not understanding the whole purpose of cultivating that kind of fear, they say the Buddhism is all about generating fear. It's not true. Because that kind of fear, the fear about your future life, has a meaning, has a purpose, has a goal. Because of that kind of fear, it will propel us. It will drive us towards spending more time, committing more time to Dharma practice. That is the whole purpose. So try to reflect on these 3 points and then make this strong decision, determination, that I must practice Dharma. So we will stop here today and we will pick up from next week. Thank you.